Good morning, majors. Today we're going to go over Unit 10, and this is day 2. Okay, so we're going to go over the volume of the sphere, prism, cylinder, pyramids, and cones. Last time we went over the surface area of these. We looked at the formulas. So the volume of a sphere, the sphere again is probably the easiest one, is 4/3 pi, or 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. Now, remember that your radius is the distance from the center to the sphere or to the circle. And so if the whole thing it says is 32, we know that half of it, or my radius, equals half of that, which is 16. I'm going to put r equals 16, and all we have to do is plug it in. My volume equals 4/3 pi 16 cubed for the volume. Okay, so I want you guys to try this. I'm going to show you first how to find the volume of a cylinder, and then this is the volume of the sphere. This is not a whole sphere, this is half of a sphere. So whatever we find, we're going to take half of. We'll come back to that one. So it says volume of a prism. If the prism has volume in cubic inches and the height of each units, this is our formula for volume of a prism. We're going to multiply the length times the width times the height for the rectangular prism. So we have our length. It doesn't really matter what we make our length times our width or our height, because we're going to just multiply them together. I'm going to say my length is the 15. And then I'm going to say the width is 8. This 8 right here. And then I'm going to put my height is 10. But since we're just multiplying them together, it doesn't matter what order it's in. So my volume is 10 times 8 times 15. Or 15 times 8 times 10. Same thing. Alright. Okay, so the volume formula for the rectangular prism is length times width times height, because the volume is the area of the base times the height. Okay, so the area of the base is going to be length times width, and then we still have the height that connects them. So I'm going to find the area of the base. In this case, we have the area of a triangle, which we know how to find the area of a triangle. We've done this already in the last notes. Capital B is the area of the base, which is area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. And the base is 3, and the height is 4. So capital B is 1/2, 3 times 4. And remember we said 3 times 4 is 12. Half of that is 6. So my capital B is 6. And then my height is the one that connects the bases. So this connects this forward triangle to the back triangle, and that is 6. So I have capital B is 6, and then my height is 6. And I'm just going to plug it into the volume formula. 6 times 6, which is 36. And then our units, whatever our units are, in this case it's meters, M. And then our units are going to be cubed when we're talking about volume. Okay, a volume of a cylinder, we have this formula. It's on your formula sheet. It's pi r squared each. So pi times your radius squared times your height. Okay, I'll find the volume of the solid. The radius right here, r is 6, and then your height is 10. So we have volume equals pi radius squared times your height. So 36 times 10 is 360 pi. And you can put the units afterwards, which is inches. And then remember, volume is in the third dimension, so that's cubed. All right, try number 2. I want you guys to try number 2. Try it out. we're going to go to volume of a pyramid. This is going to be when we have a polygon on the bottom. Usually we're going to look at a rectangular pyramid or a square base pyramid, and it is 1/2 the area of the base, or sorry, 1/3 the area of the base times the height. Remember, big B is the area of the base, and then H is your height. So the area of this base, this is a square on the bottom. So to find the area of a square, we just multiply the sides, which are all 6. We multiply 2 of the sides, length times width. And so capital B, I'll put it up here, is 6 times 6. And then the height we do not know. They don't give us the height of this pyramid. They give us the slant height. But we need this red height. But we can figure it out. If the height is perpendicular with the base, and this distance right here is going to be half of the side, so this is going to be 3, and my hypotenuse is 5, I can use my Pythagorean theorem, which is 3 squared plus whatever your height is squared equals 5 squared. Remember, your hypotenuse is always on the other side squared, and your slant height is always going to be your hypotenuse because it'll be opposite that right angle. Then 3 squared is 9 plus h squared equals 25. And if you subtract 9, you're going to get h squared equals 16. And then if you take the square root, you're going to get h is 4. We already went over this triangle last notes. This is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. But what we needed was the height. So my height equals 4. And now we can plug it into our volume formula. So the volume, I'm going to write it over here. Your volume equals 1/3 area of the base times height, and I keep on putting 1/2 or thinking 1/2, but I said it right. So my volume equals 1/3. My base, the area of my base is 36, and then my height was 4. The height of my pyramid is 4. So plug in 4. Right, plug this into your calculator and find out what your volume is. Don't forget to put your inches, and since we're talking about volume, it's cubed. So just plug that into your calculator and find out what it is. I think we have one more. We have to go over cone. Oh, let me. Oh no. I'm not understand what happened, but all right, let's go over the volume of a cone real quick. The cone formula is pretty similar. It's 1/3 pi r squared h. So you guys know r is the radius, h is the height. Just plug it in. So we did this one last time, so let's do it again this time. But this time we're going to find the volume. So I know that my radius is 3, r equals 3. And I do not know my height. I know my slant height, which is 19. So what we're going to have to do is find the height. Again, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. But in this case, my hypotenuse is always opposite that right angle. My hypotenuse is 19. So I have 3 squared plus my height, which is what I'm trying to find, squared, equals 19 squared. 3 squared is 9. Equals 19 squared is, right, so we have equals 361. When we subtract 9, we're going to get h squared equals 352, I think I said. Okay, and then when we take the square root of each side, that's not a good number. We're just going to leave it as h equals the square root of 352. I don't think that's a good number. Take the square root of that. C is 18.7. That's not good. Okay. So what we're going to do, we have our height still, square root of 352. That's fine. We're just going to plug it in. So we have volume equals 1/3 pi. My radius is 3 squared times my height is the square root of 352. And remember, when we're done, we're going to put our units, which in this case I see the feet. n squared. Alright guys, plug this in your calculator, tell me what you get, and I want you guys again to do number 1. Have a great night. We'll see you in class tomorrow.